Hi everyone, we're going to go over some of the supplies that you're definitely going to need. They should be on your school supply list, and then we're going to talk about some extra stuff you might want to think about getting. So definitely need glue. Hopefully you have at least a glue stick, maybe some white glue, and paper. Can you hand that to me? Okay, great. So we have paper and crayons. The 24 pack has white, which is really nice, but even the regular 8 crayons will do. Any kind is fine. And then, of course, scissors. So these, you absolutely have to have these for school, even if you are going to be in the building, but at home, this is absolute minimum. You got to have something to color with. So whatever you have is fine. And then we're going to show you some other stuff that we want you to think about getting, because we went to Dollar Tree today and found some really nice stuff. Now, I already had some colored pencils, but we found some great pencil sharpeners. These are much better with the pencil sharpener, better pencil sharpeners with the colored pencils, because big pencil sharpeners just eat them up and they're gone before you know it. And then also markers. I just found a Sesame Street set that I thought was great. If you want to do that watercolor with the brush, you want to get non-washables. Now, because we have non-washables, we want to think about what our other stuff is. We have watercolor, which is great, that you can do instead of using the markers. So we have it here on a palette and in the liquid. Just got these at Dollar Tree, no problem. But these might stain. So I'm going to pick up some more of these for our desks to protect our desks. And you might also want to think about having one where you can cut it maybe in half and put it in your lap to protect your clothing. Now, when you use the liquid watercolors, you need a palette to put them in. This was just a nice little frozen palette tray that we found. And then we also found some stuff that we think you're really going to like. This is temper poster paint. And then the last thing is oil pastels. Oil pastels are sometimes pretty expensive, but these are nice. And they spread softer and faster than crayon. So you got a good amount of color back there. I'm just going to go ahead and open up this all the way because it has a tray. And these are much, much softer than regular crayons, and you can rub them in with your fingers as long as your hands are clean. So they're a lot of fun, and we're going to be using those in future projects. If you can't get these and you just have crayons, that's fine, but I want you to think about getting them, because normally they're much more expensive, but Dollar Tree is getting a very, very nice arts and crafts supply section. And we even bought, whoops, I have to clean that up, but we even bought this to put them all in. So I want you to think about that so that you will have a better time when you are doing art. So you might want to think about getting those together, but for absolute bare minimum, got to have something to color with, and scissors and paper, and also a pencil. So make sure that you have your regular pencils with you and bring your art supplies to school if you are attending school when you have art class. And if you need them at home, start seeing if you can get those before next week. You absolutely have to have scissors coming up for your next projects. So make sure you have those. Okay, everyone, just a couple more thoughts. I was thinking about some other things that you can use. You can obviously get tape or school glue or staplers for your projects if you need them and you're working at home. And don't forget pencils, especially if you like to draw first and then erase or change things. And we have regular paper, which is, this is just printer paper. That's good, and you can see it's, pretty easy to move around. What you might want to do is, when we get that wet with watercolors, it gets really wrinkled. I was just trying some different watercolors out. You definitely want to protect your area that you're working on, so that this stuff doesn't get on a table. So even if it's washable, it's better to protect your surfaces and your clothes if you can. But you can see it gets really, really super wrinkled. If you can get a thicker paper, that's terrific. It helps. You can see this painting was done on a thicker paper, and it goes through a little bit less, and it's not as wrinkled up. It's no big deal if they're wrinkled up. Just put them under something heavy and let them flatten back out. And if all you have is just regular drawing paper, then we'll just make that work at home. Now, in school, we're going to be using, construction paper or colored paper, just plain normal, like the white paper that flips around, and then our construction paper, which is a little bit thicker and harder to cut. So those are some other things that you might want to consider, because I love construction paper. It's nice and firm, but a glue stick does not do that great with it. A glue stick doesn't really like to hold construction paper if you were to cut shapes out and bend them. So you either need to use a lot of glue on a glue stick, or you might want to think about getting regular school glue. Okay, everyone, so today we're going to do a fun project to get you started if you are in the classroom, and this will still be fun at home. So we're going to do this with crayons, but you can just use whatever you have if you're at home and you don't have crayons. You should, because it is part of your school supply list. So if you don't have them, you need something to color with, and you probably should get some crayons. So what we want to do is sort of look at our paper and sort of figure out where halfway across our paper is. And we're going to draw a funny monster today. And what I want to do is I kind of want to figure out a line, and I kind of want to go across that paper pretty far. I'm going to go ahead and do the bottom of my monster's face first. So this straight line here, I'm going to come around and sort of draw a half circle. So when we cut the circles in half for our jellyfish on the last project, this is kind of what I want to draw. So I want to come around and draw a sort of a half circle. It looks like an open happy mouth, doesn't it? And now I want to draw the top of my monster's head. And I'm going to go ahead and make sort of almost like a rectangle up here above, but I don't want it to be sharp. So I'm going to go here and kind of make a rounded thing and go across like the top of a rectangle. And then I'm going to go ahead and make it a little bit round and then go all the way back down to join here. So now I'm going to draw in a couple of teeth. I'll draw a few. This is a zigzag line. So maybe you're going to have a monster with lots of skinny teeth, right? And then I want to go ahead and do these steps again so that you can see. So I started out sort of halfway across my page. I sort of figured it out. I drew a line across. All right, and then I'm coming around and doing a half circle for the bottom of my monster's face. Now I'm going to do the top of the monster. And I'm going to come up kind of like a rectangle, but curve it and go across. And then go ahead and go all the way down. Now maybe this one will have skinny teeth. Lots of skinny teeth. But I don't want my monster to be scary. Monsters may have teeth, but I'm going to make mine a silly monster. So I'm going to draw 3 eyes. Maybe on this one, I'm going to go 1 circle for an eye, another circle for an eye, and another circle for an eye. And then maybe on this one, I'll have 1 eye, and another eye, and another eye. So they can be silly. They don't have to be all the same. Everybody's monster can be a little bit different. And we're going to draw a little body down at the bottom for him. You don't want to have it too close together on him. You can draw hands whatever way that you're comfortable with. So here's this one's body. Maybe his body will be wider. I'm going to give him a stick hand here. And I'm going to give him some fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to do the same thing over here. And I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with that side of his hands. And maybe this one only has 3 fingers. So 1, 2, 3. So kind of like sticks. 1, 2, 3. So there's my 2 different monsters. So you can decide what you want to do for your monster drawing and see if you want to make him with big teeth, little skinny teeth, what you want to do for his arms. So this would be a good time for teachers to pause the video, or if you're drawing at home, so that you can make sure that you're this far with your project. So we have, just to go over again, we have our 3 eyeballs, our 3 circles. We have our half circle mouth, triangle teeth, and then whatever you did for your body, And this is all about line here for our hands. So we've talked about line and shape, and then we're going to add a couple of things to finish him off and make him look a little bit funnier.